Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Jennifer Spots, the founder of Global Family Travels. We're based in Bellevue, Washington, and I'm going to be sharing this PowerPoint with you. Hopefully you can see this and make a few, we have a lot of ground to cover, and I'm so excited to share these actually two retreats with you, Bali and Seattle. I'm just going to do some quick introductions and tell you a little bit about Global Family Travels, and then we'll dive into both trips, starting with Bali, and then do some Q&A. And first of all, I'd like to introduce all of you to Sophia, Hyder, Hock. So excited that Sophia is going to be leading both of these retreats, and she's going to talk a little bit about kind of the flow of the program for each retreat. And before she does that, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background about Global Family Travels and our travel pillars. We basically create community-based experiences and actually in partnership with nonprofit organizations to learn, serve, and immerse. So because we partner with nonprofits, we are able to really authentically engage in the different communities and destinations that we travel to. We were actually born about 12 years ago, and India and Himalayas are the destination that we travel to, actually a lot. Unfortunately not in the last couple of years, so I'm really excited to be adding some new retreats and trips to our portfolio. And Bali was actually one of the last places I went to, so I'm really excited to share that with you. We do a lot of donor trips for nonprofits. We basically do some safaris, transformational journeys, and this is one of them. These two retreats, the wellness retreats, are very much a transformational retreat. A little bit about the work that we do with nonprofits. We do a lot of due diligence around the work that they do in the different countries. And we also kind of look to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals as a way to frame a lot of our trips. And the Bali retreat, we'll talk a little bit about that, has quite a few of the goals: gender equality, access to clean water, life on land. So those are goals that we use to kind of look at how we can contribute positively to the destination. I don't know how many of you have heard about regenerative travel, but it's basically an approach to travel, looking at how we can basically intentionally improve social and environmental systems in the destination. So it means putting the needs of the community and the destination first, or at the heart of the tourism experience. And then basically that gives travelers the opportunity to be stewards in the destination. So we have actually launched four retreats: Seattle, Bali, Peru in 2023, and Rwanda as well. So we'll be talking about two of these today, and then if you want to join a little bit later, we're going to be talking about Rwanda this afternoon. With that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Sophia and have her talk about the flow of the Bali, well, both programs really. So just kind of the flow of and what the chakras are as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jennifer. I am very excited to be partnering up with Jennifer. We've known each other for a few years now, but really just reconnected this year. And it's just been wonderful. So for those that don't know me, my name is Sophia Hyder Hock, and I currently am the Chief Diversity Officer for this organization called Destinations International. So my background is in diversity, equity, inclusion, international development, and sustainable development. I'm also a yoga instructor and a mindfulness meditation instructor. I incorporate my work in mindfulness and yoga into everything I do. And it really is something that I live and breathe. And so when Jennifer and I got together, she was talking about how she had her vision board had doing retreats. And I was telling her that my vision board had the same thing. And then we realized that we had so many synergies of what we were looking to do and trying to achieve. And so these two retreats are really born out of our passion and our just passion for wellness and wanting to connect with the land, connect with travel, and to find deeper meaning into what travel can be, what travel is, but also to continue our mindfulness and our wellness journeys beyond a retreat. And we wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity to not only learn, serve, and immerse, but to take those principles with us into our daily lives. And so that is what we'll be working on both retreats. So I wanted to emphasize a few things. The first being that these regenerative wellness retreats aren't yoga retreats. So you don't have to, walk in thinking that you have to be this professional yogi, whatever that means. Come as you are. This is really focused on wellness. So we'll be talking a lot about, kind of what we want to achieve for ourselves, where we are in the present moment without any judgment, and then how we can really focus on who we are, where we're at, and where we'd like to be in a very non-judgmental, but a way that gives us grace. So each morning, we will begin with a kind of a grounding meditation, some intention setting, which will then prepare us for the activities ahead. And so each day we will be focusing on a chakra, and I will explain what that is momentarily. But we'll be aligning each chakra with the activities, which is really exciting because it then helps us, really, to Jennifer's mottos, learn, serve, and immerse in a whole different way for ourselves. And the overall goal here is to really just help you experience life to the fullest and find the little nuggets that you are, some routines that you may have created during this retreat that you would like to take forward into your daily lives. Next slide, please, Jennifer. Thank you. So for those that may not know what the chakras are little energy wheels. And we have a ton of them in our body, but there are 7 main energy points that lay along our spine. So the red is at the base of our spine, which is the root that provides us with foundation, stability, and security. The orange is our sacral chakra, which is located like right below our belly button, the back of our spine. And so that is where we establish our mental and physical relationships. It's that pleasure center that we have. The yellow is kind of that where we talk about that gut feeling, so it's solar plexus. And that provides us with our self-confidence, our purpose. The heart is our green chakra, which is compassion and love. Our blue chakra is our throat. So that's a lot about communication, speaking our truth. And I can personally say that's something that I have always been working on. The purple chakra is our third eye. So that's our intuition, the wisdom that we receive. And lastly, the crown is the top of our head. It's kind of like that halo right above our head. And that's the connection we have to when we say the universe will guide us, or you're trying to find that inspiration and trying to find maybe a higher sense of purpose. And so with these 7 chakras, they tend to, some may be open at some times, some may be closed. And when certain ones are closed, you may feel that blockage. So if it's red, for example, you're kind of feeling unstable, that you don't have clear roots, you'll feel that. We'll explore what an open chakra is and what closed chakra is and what those feelings are, and then how to be able to take the steps to unblock them yourselves with some tips. So it's really about holistic wellness and practical tips to really integrate. Nothing complicated. Everything will feel achievable. Next slide. And so to my point, what we'll be doing is exploring what these blockages look and feel like in our day-to-day lives. We'll provide you with ways to be able to integrate some of these wellness tips into your daily life. So when you leave, you will want to continue this retreat, of course, but you won't feel like you're, separating vacation mode to your daily life again. So it's going to be hopefully that smooth transition. And what's really important that Jennifer and I wanted to create was that sense of community. So these groups are small because we want to create conversation. You want to create bonds, and we want to feel connected and to feel like, we can feel safe and feel vulnerable, quite honestly, to grow together. And so what we'll do is before the trip, we'll have re-engage for those that are interested or have joined, and we'll talk about expectations. We want you to all feel like you know each other once you meet. And so we'll make sure that we understand your expectations. And then we'll also provide you with like a little workbook so you can, take your notes, but you can also kind of work through and journal some things that you would like to work on or work through. So what you may be experiencing today may not be what you're experiencing in October or January, right? So it's just being open to whatever it is that you would like to experience and work on together. That is a little bit about what we'll be doing. We maybe do some yoga nidra, which is and some restorative yoga. So having poses that you just need to find that relaxation, or you need to be in a state of really it's deep relaxation. Yoga nidra is a guided a guided meditation that takes you into that dreamlike state where you are still able to relax, but you're also able to visualize. And so we'll be doing that. We'll do some, depending upon the space, some restorative legs up the wall is one of my favorite things to do. So again, basic yogic movements that you can take with you when you just need 3 minutes out of your day. I'll pause right there. I think, Jennifer, if you have any questions for later, if anyone has any questions for me right now, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Sophia. I have to say I practiced with Sophia in San Francisco at a tourism conference, and she did a mindfulness exercise. Actually, that was in February, and we did a little yoga stretches as well. So I just love the way she presents everything, and the meditation and everything. So we're in for a real treat. By the way, I think I have to go on this trip too. So sign me up. And so with that, I'm going to dive into Bali first. Bali is basically a place where it's infused with spirituality, and wellness are sort of the cornerstones of the destination. So you're every day on this trip, you're going to learn about this basically philosophy, and I'll go into that. But we can talk about the price later, but just thought I'd just put the dates up, important. So January 21st through the 31st. And if we have enough people flying out of the same airport, or there's a great Singapore Air has a really great deal, like out of Seattle or out of LA. So we can look at group travel, meeting in one hub, flying together to get a group airfare, or meet there. So we can talk about that with you individually. So just gonna look at a few day by day here. You're gonna learn about the philosophy of Trihita Karana, and basically that's the connection to humanity. It's a sort of three-part connection to community as well as to nature and God. So it's the Balinese, everything in Bali is infused with that. So it's going to be a beautiful trip along with the chakras on a day-to-day basis. We're working with several Balinese nonprofits that work with women on the island. So throughout the trip, we'll be meeting with them, and I'll talk a little bit about them. And then again, the immersiveness comes through that as well. These are actually photos that I took on my last trip before COVID in October of 2019. Bali was the last place I traveled to, and I just love the destination. So here are a few pictures. Here we go. So the first 7 days will be in Ubud, which is a thriving village, and it's in central Bali, and it's considered the cultural capital of the island, and it's famous for arts and crafts. So the word Ubud comes from the Balinese word for medicine. So people flock to Ubud for healing energies and good spirit, meditation, yoga, and indigenous wisdom. So you'll probably see a lot of other people on wellness retreats in Bali as well, just because it's a very well-known place for retreats. So again, it's 10 days, 9 nights, and we are, I'll go through each day quickly here, and because we have also Seattle to get to as well. So you'll arrive the first day, and of course, probably in the evening, and just relax and have dinner and, get over jet lag, and we'll really come together. For those people we arrive together, we'll have a group meal the first night, but the second day really essentially is the day one, exploring the first chakra and looking at Balinese culture. So as Sophia said, our root chakra is the first chakra, and we dig into Balinese culture and community, and we look at how we are firmly rooted in life, both as an individual and from a community perspective. And then after morning mindfulness practices, we'll basically get on with our day and go to learn about the Karana, as well as a workshop, which is in the Banjar. I'm going to just recap day one, then we'll go and have lunch at this beautiful Arma Museum, which has a lot of beautiful arts and crafts there. And then in the evening, we'll go to watch a fire dancing ceremony. Here are a few pictures of this. The Banjar is like a place where people gather, a community center. And so we'll learn, like I said, more about different arts and crafts, and really hands-on learning how to play some of the music, and actually making, using our hands and making some wood signs. We actually carved our names into them. And then in the evening, like I said, we'll go to see the fire ceremony. So it's a busy day, but we'll always take time over meals to kind of check in and have Sophia kind of, guide sort of some of the discussions around what we're learning and connect it to the first chakra. The next day is the second chakra, and looking at basically, well, that's all about creativity, but we'll explore looking at the Subak, the irrigation system, which is the water system, and on an herbal walk as well. And then we'll also, it's sort of a day of water because we're going to a holy spring temple as well, which is Titra Empul. It's not too far from Ubud. And then we'll visit, have lunch overlooking the Batur volcano. And then we'll go to a small village called Kantanika. Here are a few pictures of these little excursions. This little bit of the spring temple. It's basically a sacred site to purify the soul and mind that the Balinese people do. So we'll actually go through the ceremony, and then in the evening in Kantanika, we'll go visit a spa in the jungle, which is overlooking rushing the river. So again, a lot of connection to flow. So you can enjoy a massage and use some of the products at this spa. The next day is all about the third chakra. It's a day a cooking class and learning about traditional healing, and a visit to the royal palace. The palace, I think, was actually built in the late 1700s. So and we'll actually meet with the prince there. So it's a day of exploring our power. Our third chakra is all about our power and self-confidence, and we'll enjoy Balinese cuisine and healing techniques as we do that. So these are some photos of some of that day. This is the palace, and actually that's the prince. We'll actually put on the traditional saris as well. And then let's see a little bit more. This is some pictures of the group that I took in 2019. And that evening, we will actually enjoy a performance of the traditional Lungong dance on the palace stage. So they're long days, but again, we'll have chunks of time to kind of process everything. Day number 5, we'll visit some of the nonprofits, basically looking at the 4th chakra. So it's really opening your heart as you're connecting to amazing people doing amazing things, supporting women and youth. I won't go into the details of all of these nonprofits. They are in the itinerary just because we have a lot of ground to cover, but they're mainly supporting women's entrepreneur, and also supporting a natural birth clinic as well. So they're really great nonprofits that we're happy to be supporting on this trip. Here's a few pictures of some of them here. And then we will have, let's see, let me just see here. Yeah, we'll visit the Setia Dharma house, which is a house of masks and puppets. This is after lunch, and it's a collection that has a lot of beautiful masks. If you know anything about Balinese culture, it's filled with animism as well. So the mask is very connected to the culture. You'll learn that if you come on the trip. Day number 6 is basically exploring Balinese spirituality and culture. So the throat chakra and basically which the 3rd chakra is what dictates speech and communication, linked to our integrity and morals. So we're going to visit Samoan Tika temple. The mask is that day. So the last slide I just showed you. And then we will participate in a fire ceremony that night from the ancient Vedic text. Here's a few pictures of these images. That's the fire ceremony too. And then on the 7th day, we will visit another nonprofit that called Threads of Life, that is a social enterprise that helps maintain the livelihood of and traditions of weaving communities. So it's a day of using basically our connection to. I'm sorry, Sophia, you want to chime in on the sixth chakra?
Absolutely. So it's our intuition. And
Yeah.
so it's really thinking about as we learn about these different nonprofits that we're working with specifically for this day, it's really using our intuition to take a sense of how we're feeling, and what in your life perhaps inspires you and guides you as you learn about what's taking place on the 6th day.
Thank you. Yeah, so we'll at Threads of Life, it's a social enterprise focused on maintaining the livelihoods of weavers, like I said, and so we'll meet the weavers and learn about the gorgeous textiles, and then we're actually going to a second place in the afternoon, a Balinese. It's called Tenganan, a traditional Balinese village that's also known for a double ikat weaving style. It's a day of kind of connecting to using our wisdom and our creativity as well. And it's actually the setting. We'll have lunch and among the rice paddies in Cinnamon, close by. It's a picturesque village in the rice paddies. So, and then before dinner, we'll gather as a group to recap the day and then enjoy the evening to have some rest and relaxation. And the next few days are in Sanur. It's a seaside town in southeast Bali that's made up of a long stretch of beach with calm, shallow waters and basically a lot of fishing boats and really, really nice community. So we'll stay at a very nice hotel there on the beach. So it'll be some time to take beach walks, and maybe we'll do some of the meetings at the beach as well. On day number 9, we will do a recap of all of the chakras, basically looking at how the program has aligned, what we learned from traveling, and what we learned about ourselves, and share that. And Sophia, any other kind of things you want to say about recapping?
Absolutely. And in addition to that, we'll focus on some intention setting. So what are some things that you'd like to take with you? And what are some, not goals, but really intentions on how you'd like to, what you've experienced and what that feels like, and how you'd like to incorporate at least 3 things into your daily life. So we'll take that downtime just to explore and maybe reconnect with ourselves, because it's going to be both, busy, but wonderful. And we just want to take that time, that downtime before we head back home. So we'll make space for that.
Yeah, and then that's the last day. The next day is the flight home, which I didn't put in day number 10, but then, we can take questions about the itinerary now, or I can go through the Seattle retreat if anyone. Looks like we're a smaller group here. So does anyone have any specific questions about Bali before I move on to Seattle? No questions. Okay.
Hi, sorry, this is Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Thank you so much. Hi, nice to meet all you. Really appreciate this. This seems like such an amazing trip, and I'm super excited to learn about it. I'm actually a friend of Nicole's, and Nicole has told me so many great things about
Great.
your organization.
Welcome, Lori.
Yeah. So I guess just one of my questions about the overall itinerary is, it seems like the days are pretty full. Are there also like little built-in, I don't know, breaks? Or I just imagine jet lag being pretty intense for such a far trip, and just time to make sure that you can kind of, like you said, process or get some rest, or how, can you speak to that at all?
Yes, I mean, we have built in the morning and in the evening, kind of times for you, and then there'll be obviously over meals as well at lunchtime. Yeah, so it is a busy, but I can say, having been there, the vibe in Bali is so relaxing. And actually even the Banjar workshop was laid back, and some of the, you'll have time in transit to some of these nonprofits, in the vehicle or the van, to also, have some downtime. But yeah, so Sophia, do you want to say more about that, and like kind of the schedule in the morning? I think we put that
Right.
in the itinerary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that Jennifer and I spoke about, where we don't want this to be just a go, 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 and here's a tour of this, and here's a tour of that. That's not the point here. The point is to really make sure that we are just immersing ourselves, but also taking the time that we need to relax, because I'm sure we all need it.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, we did design it and talked about the balance of experiencing and also needing that time for ourselves. So in the mornings, nothing is scheduled early. It's really meant to, kind of, if it's optional, if you'd like to come, you can. If not, that's okay too. So nothing is required, but it will be there. That time will be there. I will be there to do, what we need to do in the morning. If you'd like to show up, there's no necessary requirement. And the same thing at night. it's really just meant to, relax. So kind of have that downtime, just decompress on the day, and then your time is yours. So it's always optional. There's nothing that is forced or feels like, there's pressure that you need to be there. It's really, you do you. See how you're feeling. And if you need to come. If you don't, no one's judging.
Right, right. Well, I assume the whole focus on mindfulness and, some meditation, some things woven in there, I'm sure would be, immensely helpful to keep that
Mhm.
that pace. But okay, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll also, some of the meals in the evening are on your own. So if you need time, to be by yourself and process and all of that, they're not all group meals. I mean, the lunch times are more kind of group, and obviously breakfast at your leisure, but there'll be a starting time, obviously, to adhere to. So that,
Right.
yeah, kind of build that in. So yeah, it's and any more questions, feel free to reach out. I'll pop later actually the booking page and kind of next steps in the chat, but I'll gonna transit now to Seattle, to our Greater Seattle retreat. Global Family Travels is actually in the Seattle area. And so I'm really excited about this retreat. And we've been doing a lot of kind of community tours here in partnership with a lot of nonprofits. So we've built in a lot of time to connect again to the 7 chakras, but to enjoy like some community experiences as well. So I'll just give you a few kind of an overview of what we're doing. So we're basically, have launched a graffiti tour, have launched a Power of Community Gardens. And so we also work with a couple of tribes, incorporating Indigenous wisdom and kind of some ecological issues. So this retreat will have a lot of that infused, but also have the mindfulness practices as well. We're on the first day, day number 1, you would probably arrive in Seattle like the day before. So this is day 2 of the retreat, or day 1, we'd have a group dinner if people all arrive in time. And then so we'll go connect to your first chakra through the Power of Community Gardens and the Black Farmers Collective. It's a beautiful farm in downtown Seattle that has basically put together some community gardens, and you learn a lot about gentrification and issues of food sovereignty, but also connecting to the root chakra as well. And then that actually day, the next day we'll, so there's a meal in there as well, and actually some time in the evening for dinner, for a group dinner. So this one is not as go as the other retreat. And actually we will be staying at the Mayflower Hotel in the heart of Seattle. And so the first day we'll have, actually there's a little room that we can use, a breakout room, to have like kind of intention setting for the retreat, as well as a group breakfast before we get on with our day. And I'm just gonna go through some of the highlights of the tours, and then I'll go back to some of the other kind of meals and things like that. So the day number 3, we connect with, actually, I'm sorry, the day number 2, first day you arrive, day number 2, and then the 3 is connecting with our street tour and looking at the second chakra and your creative expression and community. And then we'll also go in the afternoon to Pike Place Market. Actually, some of graffiti pictures here, where we'll have lunch, and then also kind of do a market tour as well of the market, and learn about the Pike Place Market Foundation is a nonprofit that works in the market and does a lot of amazing things in the marketplace. So we're going to do a little afternoon tour there after we enjoy lunch there. And then also enjoy some time on the waterfront at your leisure. You can walk down to the waterfront from the market, have some time to shop as well. And then later that day, we will take a ferry over to Bainbridge Island, which is an island just across from downtown Seattle, and stay overnight at the Squamish Casino and Resort, which is actually, I'll show you this picture here. And we'll spend 2 nights there. So after we take the ferry, we'll just have a downtime there and at this beautiful resort on the lake. And there is a spa there. I know with COVID, they've had some issues like hiring people back, but hopefully by October they'll have more people. So the next day, we're going to go have a day of learning about the Squamish Native heritage and explore our third chakra, kind of looking at going to the museum, as well as having a Native heritage lunch and storytelling with the tribe, the tribal elders. And this is actually, Chief Seattle is actually from the Squamish tribe. So we'll go visit his gravesite and learn a little bit of history about the tribe, and also how they're really preserving their culture through these museum and some of the other activities that they have for us. And we may do actually some basket weaving too. There'll be a hands-on activity. So that'll be a beautiful day of exploring our third chakra. There's also a reserve called the Blodell Reserve, and we'll have time in the afternoon to take a walk around the reserve and do some forest bathing after lunch, and do a little forest meditation and forest bathing that afternoon too. And day number 5, we will travel to Orcas Island. This will be all about the 4th chakra, and we'll be picked up and transported to a ferry that will basically take us up. So it's a day. This is actually a down day, kind of processing what we've learned so far, but we'll be on the water. So opening our hearts on the water as we travel to Orcas Island. And we'll be staying at this Do Bay. This is Orcas Island here. This is the resort. It has a spa. So we'll actually have a retreat house and a couple of cabins here that we'll be staying at. So it'll be 2 beautiful days after leaving the city and visiting Bainbridge, to unwind and do some kind of deeper meditation, yoga. There's actually a place to do yoga here too, and hopefully the weather in October is normally really, really beautiful. On the 6th day, the day after we get to Orcas Island, we'll do a guided hike and do some mushroom foraging and explore our 5th and 6th chakras, and then have a farewell dinner at Do Bay as well. And so the next day, we'll ferry back to Seattle and focus on the 7th chakra. Probably have some time in the morning to talk about that, do the meditation practice and talk about the 7th chakra, how we connect to the divine, or in our wisdom, and then ferry back to Seattle from there. And people can either stay one more night, depending upon flight times. I'll kind of look into that, and then have you fly home, or feel free to stay longer in Seattle as well. So I'm going to actually, let me put some links in the chat for you here and talk about next steps if you're interested in booking. Just here. So basically, I'm going to put some links in the chat, but you want to, you can scan this QR code and it'll take you to the page with all of those retreats. But I will put this booking form in the chat for you too. And then there's a booking form there, and then there's a $500 deposit, which we have some in the booking form, some explanations. Obviously, if COVID breaks out again, we have that trip basically we would have to postpone it. It will find another time to do it. And, we're very flexible. Our partners are all flexible. If somebody does get COVID, that's all explained in the booking form. I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're out of, the worst of it. But again, this retreat is in January. So it's really hard to say what will happen. Let me stop sharing for 1 second and put some of these links in the chat here.
And as Jennifer does that, if I want to emphasize that from a wellness standpoint, this is not cookie cutter. So if, at a time you're booking and you're like, Sophia, I'm accessible. So if you're like, Sophia, I'm feeling this, maybe you could focus a little on, opening up my heart. I'll keep that in mind as I plan, integrate that into my wellness plan for everyone. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear as well.
So I put the 2 booking forms in there, but I can also put the links to the trips because those 2 links also can be found from the actual trip itself too. So, and you can dig into it further. We would be doing a pre-departure, kind of set your intentions, and we'll give you a journal so you can actually write down your intentions for the trip. And, we'll have probably a couple months prior. And we're kind of capping these at, we're saying 12, but if we have like 15 is the max, I think we would do. So we recommend, if you're interested, to kind of book early. So we've had 20 people register for this today. So there's a lot of interest this early, which is exciting. So I imagine that they'll fill up pretty quickly. Let me just put this also. This is the so those links there are the booking forms, as well as the Bali retreat and then the Seattle retreat. So you can look further, and we'll probably be sending out a PDF to the itinerary as well. So you have, if you're interested, we'll be sending that out further, so you have something to look at as well. But let me open it up to questions now. We have a small group here, so anybody, hands up for Bali? Who's interested in Bali? Curious. Joan, hi Joan.
Jennifer,
I'm interested in Bali.
I have a question. There's Nicole. Like, if those dates don't work, are you going to have other options, or is this just the first one right now?
These dates are pretty set because they're aligned with Sophia's schedule. So, we do some custom trips for families, but we wouldn't obviously do anything with, or smaller groups. But obviously, this is retreat, so the dates are aligned with both Sophia's schedule and mine for the fall, because I'll be joining the Seattle retreat too. So unfortunately, no.
Oh, I meant, are you going to have more than one option? Like, are you going to do it again? Is what I meant.
Oh yeah, I mean, I imagine we'd love to repeat this in like a year later for sure. Yeah, I thought you meant, are we going to have multiple kind of dates for 2023?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a trip like this sounds amazing, but for some reason you can't make the dates work, I understand you do some, custom type trips or something. What would be, I don't know if you'd say the minimum, or what kind of group sizes would you need to say, if somebody said, hey, this sounds amazing, I can't make this Bali trip, but somewhere down the future, I would love to do it. Would you have like a group size where you said, hey, we could maybe not recreate the exact trip, but do, something similar with a group size?
Yeah, we would. I mean, obviously, Sophia may not always be available. It's, we are hoping to kind of model this as well. If, like, for example, if you're familiar with Wanderfest, Nicole and I were there. It was an all women's gathering for traveler in New Orleans. And there was a lot of interest, and there are some people who actually, lead retreats and were interested in this type of thing. So, I would love to have Sophia obviously doing as many as she can, but we can't can't clone her. So
Certainly. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, I'm happy to chat about that too. Anybody interested in the Seattle one out of curiosity? Just
If I could do them all, I would. I'm jumping on your Rwanda one too.
oh, great. Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
all
Rwanda one
sound
is
fun.
not really a wellness, but it is all about empowering women. I mean, that's the theme of all of these trips. And how do we support, both the women in the host destination as well as the women, travelers. So yeah, that's the theme.
Along with healing and trauma informed, I do those two modalities as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to stop recording, and I'm since we're the Q&A is over, but happy to entertain more questions once I do. Hold on. Okay.